Good evening, everyone. This is Henry Gambell with simpleroptions.com, and in tonight's free video, I wanted to share a couple of ideas with you, one of which stemming from the idea of looking here at the cues and thinking, during this most recent flush, we've come down and tested the 100-day moving average, and you can see that as a general rule, that's about as far down as the NASDAQ has been able to get, with the exception when we traded back down below it in 2016. From that point of the correction, pretty much every time we've tested the 100-day moving average, that's been an area of, relative support and a place where the trend resumed and we started to head back higher. One other thing that I've been looking at, and one way you can run it here in Thinkorswim, is to grab your trendline tool, attach it to your high first, and then before clicking the second time, just drag it down into whatever low that you're trying to measure against. And you can look at this and say, from the highs, the NASDAQ has seen a 12% correction. Is that enough of a correction to start working our way back higher? Now, of course, I've been working to take these decisions a day at a time, but we know that this is an area to basically consider it. Okay. If that does start to really firm up and things start looking better over the next couple of days, I'm probably not going to look over to come and buy the cues, but I'm going to try to buy some of these other names that I think have slightly better signals, one of which is MU, and I am primarily interested in MU off of the weekly squeeze. So if you look back at this, what the signal did here for us, a little bit of a violent consolidation here on the pullback. We have another fresh signal that is showing us something very similar, and if this daily squeeze can get going, I think that could follow into the weekly, and especially if you're willing to define your risk back against this previous swing low, maybe look for that for a push to new highs. Now, I have not entered this one yet. I'm trying to be patient with it, but if we can start closing up in this area, then that will be much more beneficial for what's going on the weekly chart. And you can also see with this grouping of squeezes here, there's a significant move that's about to happen. If it ends up being lower, I will try to do my best to not be involved. If it ends up being higher, then I'm going to try to do my best to buy that as that starts to break out. A couple others to keep on your list. I've got Skyworks Solutions, that this may end up being, if you can time things perfectly, obviously that's what we're all trying to do. I think that this is good from a long-term perspective, and then from the more immediate perspective, this is the signal that I'm focused on. So a very similar way of thinking to say that while the market was having kind of a rough go at it, came back down into 95 and has held that very well, and now we're working to close back up above those moving averages. So I'm just looking at it for a trade, and then if I can get that to come through, I think there's some tradable opportunities in there. One last one to mix it up a little bit, CME also showing you some very similar signals. So I look at these and just think, if the current action is going to follow through anything like what we've seen previously, the current noise consolidation in this range could potentially resolve like what we have seen previously, and I think that those signals are worth keeping an eye on. So those are some names that I'll have on my watch list. If you're looking for those to trade them, I hope you find those ideas helpful. One other thing I wanted to mention to you is that next Thursday, for those of you that are more interested in things like unbalanced butterflies and ratio spreads, I'm going to be doing a course on that on Thursday evening. So we've been working some of these ideas in Win. We're also looking for any of these opportunities in this type of spot where you've got this good implied volatility that the market has just started to give us, to look for more of these spots. So if that's something you're interested in, that'll be going on Thursday afternoon. I hope to see you there. Otherwise, you guys have a great evening, and we'll touch base in the next free video.